one of you. I thank you for coming on board to the 210 Traffic Safety Committee and monthly meeting. Good to have everyone to engage this time with us so we can share information amongst all of us. Again, my name is Reverend Dr. Robert Screen Sr. I'm your host. Will be your host through this evening. And again, we hopefully on this eve, before we get into some things, we'll talk about our July 27th event. Again, I want to thank all of you for engaging with us tonight to enlighten yourself in awareness of what's happening on Indian Head Highway and as far as enforcement, safety, and those things I pray that we all are a little bit interested in terms of our well-being in this community. So without further ado, we usually start out with jumping right into, I guess you could say, the bandwagon of trying to get information of the currency of what is happening in terms of our local police commanding outlet from Captain Philip Martin, who's diligently been working with the state troopers of late, and also on their own, I guess, monthly things that they've been doing as the police force for the for the area. They've been working diligently to try to keep us all safe. So, Captain Martin, we thank you for coming on board, and once again, I know you have some interesting stats that you're going to share with us about the last 30 days. So I'd like to turn it right over to you and let you enlighten us to what has happened in these last 30 days.
All right. Can you hear me, Dr. Screen?
Yes. Yes, sir, I can.
All right. Good evening to everyone. I'll start out with, I reached out to Captain Smith about the speed cameras. I'm sure you have some updates as well, but just a couple of lines that he gave me is that they're very close to activating the new cameras. They've got several units deployed on 210 for the past 3 weeks to gather data, and they're anticipating turning the cameras on for enforcement this week, actually. And now we'll go into the current stats. I dropped them into the chat year to date. So essentially we've got half the year enforcement statistics. I was kind of curious, so I went back on my email real quick, and I got the first one of this year that encompassed all of 2023. I'm not sure, I'm going to put it in my screen. It might be kind of hard for you guys to read that, but anyhow, for this year so far, and our acting captain actually broke it out once we started partnering with MSP, so he added a column in there for the Maryland State Police's enforcement efforts that we're aware of. Obviously, they might have some on their own, but this is just encompassing the joint enforcement days that we have, which I believe began in March. So if we look at there across all of our efforts, traffic stops specific to 210, 1,539 year to date, with 918 moving citations, 2016 warnings, 206, those are equipment repair orders if someone has a light out or something like that. And that totals up to 3,140 for the year. And then that next group of numbers is the commercial motor vehicle violations. That's essentially coming from MSP. And again, we don't have necessarily our traffic unit always giving us their individual days. I don't think they've been out there recently, but they do have the ability to do some commercial motor vehicles. So this is just encompassing what MSP has told us. So that should be a little bit higher. So that includes 63 inspections that they've had. They put 4 drivers out of service, 1 vehicle was overweight, and 3 vehicles were placed out of service. And then if we talk about citations, this is probably on the low end as well. It's on me to make sure I am aware when the patrol has the DUI arrest. So maybe I've missed some, but we have at least 3 that we've documented. 13 pounds of marijuana, that was one of our enforcement days. 2 felony arrests, 1 misdemeanor arrest. And that pedestrians contacted at the very end comes out of Division 4 up there near the DC line. They pass out pedestrian contacts. So if I compare that to last year, if I'm looking at the traffic stops through 6 months this year, we have 1,539. And when I see that all that we did last year, 2023, that was 1,171. So we have 400 more traffic stops in 6 months less. So that's pretty outstanding. Our
Yes.
moving citations from all of last year was 757. We're already at 918. Our warnings all of last year was 1727. We're already at 2016. EROs, equipment repairs were 148 last year. We're at 206. So across all those numbers, last year was 2632, and this year we're already at 3140. Commercial motor vehicles, we didn't have any captured from when I got here in October. That was on our list. And DUI arrest, that was again 3 last year with 3 warrant services. So and then pedestrians contacted, there was 4,400 throughout the whole year. So if you put those numbers side to side, I'm pretty happy with that, and that's really resting on the shoulders of our increased patrol enforcement, as well as what we've been able to do out there with MSP and get them involved. So you can just imagine, just double that by December, and we're looking pretty good to where we were sitting last year, and I'm assuming for many years past. So I hope you guys are happy with that. I'm very happy seeing that. And now if I look, my last item here, our next 210 enforcement with Maryland State Police is going to be Tuesday, July 23rd. We're going to have Maryland State Police out again, and we're going to have our Special Operations Unit. They'll be out here again after not seeing them for a month. So our numbers should be a lot more impressive than we've seen without them. So that's all that I have. Anybody got any questions?
Yes. Now, this is a combined total with you and MSP as well?
Yeah. So the way the columns are broken down there, if you're looking at it, that column B there has MSP going down there. Then overtime units, I need to actually go back and see if I have any of the overtime. We don't have that many overtime enforcement, but anyhow, that's a C column. D is all of our patrol and our cops unit, and then the total column is on the right there for everybody.
Okay. Well, I mean, this is quite enlightening from what you've given us, a total of all of last year and what you have done thus far this year. It really, to me, shows what's happening in the gaps or the areas between the cameras, the type of activity that's continually warranting the need for enforcement. It's just as clear as day to me. I'm hoping everyone else can see that as well when we look at what we I mean, you're giving us a pretty much a 6-month total, 7-month total for the year. And I'm adding on like last year total for what the summation was for the number of speed camera violations, people going over 67 miles an hour. In other words, 68 miles an hour and above. There was over 40,000 50 people that were accounted for that. Now you take that 40,000 then plus what you guys are doing, it shows you the personality of this roadway in terms of its safety, in terms of its threat to safety, and a whole lot of other things I could probably throw in the mix of that statement. But I'm so glad that what you're showing, Captain Martin, is the very need for all of these different factions, Prince George's County Police, along with MSP, Maryland State Police, along with the cameras, what we are needing and the continuancy of what we have thus far to make a difference on this roadway. Did anyone else have any comments towards this? We normally take it at the end of the day, but we have some time, I think, with this particular session we have today. So has anyone had any comments for Captain Martin of what you're looking at now? Herbert, Brother Jones?
Yes, good evening, everyone. I'd like to thank Captain Martin and his team for the work that they're doing. It's obvious to me as I look at these stats that you're making a difference. I appreciate your energy and your advocacy and making sure and continuing to look at 210 and making sure the driving experience is safe and we begin to change driver behavior and habits. So thank you, Captain Martin, and to your team.
Thank you very much.
Yes, we all thank you. We certainly do thank you. Any other comments or any questions for Captain Martin while we have him?
Yes, I agree with him. I thank the officer and I thank everybody from District 7 and District 4 and the state police for everything they're doing to make us safe out there. Thank you.
We appreciate hearing that. Thank you, sir.
Okay, well, Captain Martin, again, thank you so much for you and all of those who are working with you alongside of you. Your efforts speak for themselves, and when the numbers speak for themselves. And so we just pray Godspeed to all of you, remain to stay safe. And we thank you for your efforts, all of your efforts for keeping us safe as well. With that being said, I thank you. We'll probably, if you hold on, there may be some questions later on during the course of our time here. Herbert, did you have something else that you wanted to comment on? I see that your hand is up. Okay.
My apologies. Sorry.
That's quite all right. That's quite all right. Okay, that being said, that's one way to get us started, to let us know exactly what Captain Martin and Prince George's County Police is working jointly with, again, the Maryland State Police, and their joint effort, and showing very productively what is going on this roadway, but between and around the cameras, what is going on when there's road enforcement in place. We're going to move quickly right to our next presenter, as we normally do, from the State Highway Administration, the MDOT, our friend and also representative who's been in kind with us all of our 7 years, Mr. Peter Campanides. Peter, we will turn it over to you to give us the latest update of anything that we need to know in the last 30 days or forthcoming for our future, for our road enhancement or improvement. So Peter, we turn it right over to you, sir.
Thank you, Reverend Screen. Good evening, everyone. I have a few things, I guess, to share at this point. The first thing is a work order has been issued to replace the flex posts that were installed along the shoulders of Maryland 210 between Palmer Road and essentially down to Swan Creek Road. I'm trying to get a schedule from maintenance right now to figure out when that's going to happen. There's a couple of things with two of the intersections. Well, we'll start with the 210 and Kirby Hill Road interchange. I know there's been quite a few concerns about that, and we've received a couple of service tickets regarding some safety issues. It shouldn't come as too much of a shock to everyone who goes south in the evening, especially that motorists are using the interchange as a shortcut to circumvent the backups that are occurring, basically the backups extend from Palmer Road northward. So we're doing field observations and trying to come up with some recommendations on how to address that. We have received complaints at Maryland 210 and Old Fort Road North. It's the westbound direction. There are some impatient motorists who are using the second lane from the right to bypass people to make a right turn because they're unwilling to wait in the queuing. That is more of an enforcement issue in terms of catching those people making that illegal movement, but we're gonna see what we can do from a engineering standpoint to address that. There's this long-standing issue with trying to get the no turn on red sign replaced with a larger sign. I know that's in the Office of Traffic and Safety's port to schedule a time to have that work done. And trying to think what else. I did notice, I'll be forthcoming, I noticed that there are some cars that were put on the side of the road along westbound Berry Road, Maryland 228.
Yes.
We're gonna have to address that. We're gonna put up no trespassing signs there. I saw this today, so I was amazed to see them angled. You know, it's kind of a down slope off the road for drainage purposes, but there they were, four of them lined up like they were you know, a dealership there.
Yes.
So we're gonna, so we're gonna address that. And I was looking at the participant list to see if Dr. Franz was on the list because I didn't want to steal his thunder, but I am good. I haven't, he's not there today. We are supposed to meet with him tomorrow for the latest update in his research. I had the opportunity to talk with him, I guess it was about a month and a half ago. Time flies. And he shared with us that unfortunately the treatments that we were trying out and in particular even the quick curb with the flat panels had not had any effect in reducing speeds. And that probably doesn't come as much of a surprise to any of the people on this call. I am going to schedule a conversation at some point in the next month to see if there is one more measure that could be considered. I mean, so the basic bottom line is what I would consider the inexpensive treatments that are typically used for channelization were found to be ineffective, and that, you know, that in of itself is part of the research documentation. What I'd like to do is use something that's a little bit more formidable, and that is a little bit more on the pricey side, but essentially one thing that, you know, the thing that I'm looking at is the possibility of using temporary barrier, but it wouldn't be the concrete barrier. It would be more like a plastic, water-filled, sand-filled type of arrangement. We wouldn't be putting them, let's put this, we wouldn't be putting too many of them like the way that we had used the flex posts and the two different types of quick curb. But the idea would be similar. Somewhere between the intersections, we would put the treatment in, and the intent is to condition motorists to try and drive a little bit slower. I need to vet that. We have different types of materials that get approved. And so we're going to look at our qualified products list to see what we would consider using. If anything, I would likely lean toward a sand-filled treatment as opposed to a water-filled treatment, because water-filled can be sensitive. There's certain specifications that go along with that, but to me, it's a little bit higher than the quick curb. Well, they're about the same size. In terms of height, it's about anywhere between 36 and 42 inches, depending on the kind of barrier. But it looks a lot more formidable the flat panel quick curb. So, that's kind of that's the last thing that, that, wanted to share with you, but that's what's kind of going on right now.
Would that be, Peter, something put only at intersections, or would that be?
No, they wouldn't be put at intersections. So when some of the treatments were put approaching the intersections,
Mhm.
sight distance was an issue. Your line of sight was
Okay,
somewhat limited, and so there were a couple of other concerns associated with that. So I'm going to steer clear of using that, of applying them approaching intersections, and just looking at more mid-block.
okay.
And
Okay.
we'll see how that goes. We'll see how that goes. I don't want to overpromise. So that's, yeah. I am disappointed that the treatments that we tried didn't have any effect. But sometimes you need to, sometimes you need to have it, as a trial, just to see how it would work. And obviously something more formidable here is what would probably be called for.
Well, if I may just add, Peter, we just got a report from Captain Martin of the numbers of citations, traffic stops, that his numbers have reflected really a behavior mindset on this road. And then I underscore what last year's summation of those going over the 12-mile-per-hour buffer of 68 miles per hour and above, over 40,000 people. We're talking about a cultural mindset that's baked in right now in this area. It's baked in, and it's like whatever I can get away with. And so when we're talking about having compliance to what we are all trying to seek in terms of people, having some kind of reasonable mindset to come within this, the speed laws or the road laws, we're outside of that parameter. I mean, the numbers just show it glaringly. We may not want to look at ourselves that way as a community, but the data shows what it shows, and it shows a cultural baked-in mindset that compliance has to be forced. It's not coming by willfulness at this point in time. Now, of course, the overall majority of people are doing the right thing, no question about that. But we're living with a roadway that our main roadway, Indian Head Highway, does not have other venues for, in other words, to get from point A to point B. If you're all the way down in Accokeek and you're trying to get to the Beltway going to the Accokeek, if this shuts down, which it has proven to be at times that it has done that, north and south. We had this incident happen back here in October of last year. We've had it happen about a year before then, where it hours at a time when it shut down, both north and south. What it means that everybody that lives in this community is basically held captive to wherever they are. If there's an emergency, you're going to be in a place where you're not going to be able to get help. And this is really where what we're really talking about. We're really dependent upon people doing the right thing for all of our survivals, for all of our well-being. And so we have to address this behavior issue that's right now baked in and the numbers show it. And we've got to do things that alter that mindset. So when you're talking about, you know, things that, I mean, anybody that's been down here in Akakeek can see the devastation of people who are deliberately hitting these flex poles. I mean, just destroy them. And this is a mindset. So we're going to have to deal with the reality of what the data is showing, what the enforcement numbers are showing, what we have seen with our own eyes. We have to make a decision on which, you know, where do we go from here? And I think in terms of what you're going to have to apply, or what's your decision in terms of applying something that will help bring that compliance to some reasonability. I think it's already been stated. I think the numbers already suggested, and I think we all understand where we are with it in terms of decision making. Any questions for Peter? Peter, did you have anything else you wanted to share with us?
No, but on the line also is Mike Baumgartner. He is with the Maryland Highway Safety Office.
Yes.
So I wanted to recognize him and welcome him back to this group.
Yes, I will go right to Mike. I wanted to get to Herb Jones first. He had his hand up, and then we'll go right to Michael Baumgartner. Okay.
Yes, good evening, Peter, and
evening,
everyone.
How are you?
Good, doing great.
Great.
Question about the foliage that's on the walls of 210 as you coming over the Woodrow Wilson Bridge and bearing to your right, etc. Just out of curiosity, whose responsibility is it to maintain the foliage and make sure it's cut down off the those I guess there's sound barrier walls on either side?
Our maintenance office.
Okay, I just want to turn your attention to that because it's getting out of hand, and I've seen continued growth there, and it just has a bad look and feel as you're coming down to 210, etc. And if we can get it early, we don't have to worry about it just overgrown situation, because they're also in between the barriers on the side of the road and the wall, and you have trees, almost literally trees coming up in between, etc. If we possibly get to that early and maintain it, it won't be as much burden on your maintenance team.
Okay.
And then I'm sure you're aware of my last question,
sure.
the trucks on the side of the how do I describe it? You have those cabins that, as you again coming off the Woodrow Wilson Bridge, taking that first exit and coming around the bend, passing the casino, you have all these tractor trailer cabins sitting on the side of the road, and they've been there for an ordinary amount of time. Is that part of the highway safety protocol? I know they have rest areas on the bridge for trucks, but it looks like they're parked inappropriately as they're coming down 210 on the side of the road there at night, and can create some sort of safety situation if they're not moved. Is that under you guys' jurisdiction?
In part, yes, from a signing perspective.
Okay.
And then once it's signed, then the District 4 station can then perform enforcement.
Okay, so the Prince George's County folks will do enforcement and not the state highway folks.
Correct.
Since that's the state highway,
Correct.
I believe, right? Yeah.
Yes. But the signing part of it would be us, yes.
Understood. Thank you.
Okay, sure.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Herb, for that question. And Peter, did you have any other comments or insights that you want to share with us?
No, not at this time.
Okay. Well, listen, thank you, Peter, for all of what you're sharing. And I wanted to go right to Mike Baumgartner. Mike, I'm always kind of between MDOT and SHA. I'm not quite sure where to peg you between the two. But I'd like to give you a platform. Mike is also coming from our state capacity in terms of can give us enlightenment of your insights to things that you may know about that can give us some insights and things about the roadway and the head highway. So Mike, I'd like to turn it over to you and any things that you may add to Peter's comments that you may have for us.
Yeah. Well, we our office is the highway safety office, and we fall under the MDOT umbrella.
Okay.
We're signed underneath the MVA, or headquartered out of Glen Burnie,
Okay.
because Mrs. Nizer is the governor's appointee to NHTSA for highway safety, so that's why we fall under MVA.
Okay.
But I have the community engagement for all of Southern Maryland. So I have Montgomery, PG, Calvert, Charles, St. Mary's, to help with community engagement, to come out and support efforts that are going on, provide education. We're trying to do some stuff with some high schools and get some information out there to educate, teen drivers, that sort of thing. Some of the high schools, take us up on it, some don't. And I understand that because it's very difficult to find time for us to come in for 45 minutes or so when they have 181 days to teach a curriculum. So what we started doing, and I don't know if we have any teachers or anybody influenced, but we started trying to work with the health officers in high school, at the high school level, and what we can do kind of matches with their curriculum, so it's not really taken away with what they're trying to teach, and it's actually reinforcing some of the things that they teach as well. Like, for example, I've taken a rollover simulator to a number of high schools that shows importance of wearing seatbelts. We've taken glasses that mimic distracted driving because they turn dark for 5 seconds at a time, and have them navigate a cone course out on the track. Impaired glasses as well, where they're trying to navigate the same cone course. I tend to try and shy away from the impaired glasses, because if a kid makes it through the cone course with the impaired glasses, then they think, oh wow, man, I can drive really good drunk. And that's and that's their perception, but they don't realize that they clipped a bunch of cones, which I tell our people that they've hit. They don't realize that because they can't, because they're paying attention to what's going on with the glasses, but they still have that mindset. But we do that type of stuff, and we've helped a number of high schools organize some mock crashes, where they generally, that's sometime around prom seasons or homecomings. And then the other thing I have is a statewide motorcycle safety program, and that one's a tough one, because it's hard to tell a 20-something-year-old kid, that 100 miles an hour is a bad thing to do on a motorcycle when they're having so much fun doing it. So I'm trying to, so what I've tried to do, and I've reached out to one sport bike club so far, and they have some members in Charles County and PG County, and they wanted some motorcycle pamphlets from MVA about getting licenses. So I didn't ask any questions, but I'm assuming they have quite a few riders that don't have licenses. So it looks like they're going to push them to, get themselves legal, which, if that's the avenue I got to go, and I get that cooperation with some sport bike groups, and it spreads around the state, and we get some people to slow down, and they're not burying their own people, that might be the way we need to go, because it's a cultural thing, and it doesn't matter how much education you can throw at somebody or stats. It's got to come from people that are close to them for it to make an impact. So that's one of the things we're trying to do. And I think you guys are on the distribution list for our toolkits. Are you getting those, Dr. Screen?
No, we haven't. I haven't gotten one. We certainly would love to get it.
Let me add you to. Let me make sure I add you when I send those out, because they come out usually a new toolkit each month.
Okay.
Focusing on a different type of driving behavior. But they're all accessible on our website at 0-maryland.gov under resources. So you can still get them, but I'll make sure I add you to the list, because I know Pete gets them.
Okay.
I think he's on it. I don't know who else on this call could get them, but if everybody wants to get them, I have no problem with adding you to my distribution list and send them to you. So just let me know.
Absolutely. We'd love to have him, Mike. I really.
And you have a thing coming up too, right? To honor.
Yes, we're coming up here on July 27th. I tell you what, if you can give me, I tell you what, do you have a number?
Just it's email to me. You got my email, right?
Okay, I'll get, I'll get,
We'll
'cause
connect
I want-
tomorrow or something on it.
Yeah, I want to get you, the flyer invitation, July
Yeah.
27th, Saturday after next, 11 o'clock, Harmony Hall. So we'll get
That
that.
works
to you.
out good. My wife will be out of town and it gives me something to do.
Okay. Okay. Yes, with Mike, we love to have you because I love the work that you're doing, particularly with the young people. We need more of that. We just have to have it more advertised.
Well, Dr. Screen, we can even do it at your church. We don't mind
Okay.
doing it. You know, we've done a number of things. We're doing a car show at the Glen Arden Baptist Church in September.
Okay. Okay,
So, yeah,
that's, I like to talk.
that's
to
a
you about
big
that.
car
Yeah.
show.
Okay. Okay, well, real good. We want to do something to get the message out there. Education
Yep.
is always a way to go, at least to a degree, to those who want to be educated.
Yep.
So,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, you might reach a small percentage, but that small percentage might pass
may
that
make
on
a
to somebody
difference.
else, right? You know, if we
Yeah.
save one life, it's one less family tragedy somebody's got to endure.
Amen to that. Amen to that. Michael, thank you so much for what you're doing. Thank you for what you've given us here tonight. Thank you so much. Yes, any questions to Mike while we have him?
Is he still with us? Mike, are you still here? Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Sorry. My quick question is of your campaigns, which I have been to your website and they are great resources. If you could consider adding tailgating, because people will ride your tail and not realize, I don't think they really understand how dangerous that is when you ride so close to somebody else to try
Yeah.
to push them to move faster.
Yeah, well, that's all part of the aggressive driving part of the website. So that's under speed, I think, under the speed tablet. But yeah, if people it's amazing, how many rear end collisions could be avoided if everybody uses a 3-second following distance. It's not that difficult to do. It gives you plenty of room to react. And when somebody crashes into somebody, it clogs up the whole road. Nobody's going to run into each other if they just give a little bit of distance between each vehicle. I just don't know how to get that across to people. We have posted it out on our website a number of times through social media and everything else. I've posted a bunch of times on my own page.
Yeah.
Just, unfortunately, we are living in an all about me society right now, and nobody else matters, and there's no courtesy to anybody out on the road, much less in the general public anymore, which is kind of scary.
Yeah, that and not using a turn signal.
Yep.
Whether
It's
it's
amazing
required
these
or not, it lets people know what you're about to do. So
Yeah, it's amazing these 50, 60,000 plus vehicles, the turn signals don't work.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. How about that? I think we have Mr. Henry McPherson that has a
Yeah,
question for us.
Yeah, one quick comment. Another thing I see is people speeding, and they cut you off, and then they brake check you like that they're trying to cause an accident. I see a lot of that going down Indian Highway that when you exit off of Kirby Hill Road on that ramp into the pass lane, people wants to follow you so close, and then if I don't get over, they go around me and cut me off, and then they do brake checking.
Yeah. Well, that's probably one of the few addicts that people are doing, but
Yeah, the only advice I can give you that is don't let it upset you. There's this great show on I don't know which cable network it aired on, but I watched it on Apple TV, called Ted Lasso. And Ted Lasso he was an American high school football coach and got hired to be a football coach in England. Well, we know those are two different sports. So he had to figure out how to motivate soccer players that are way different than football players. And he had a soccer player fire off a shot that killed the team mascot. And his advice to this guy, and I tell this to people all the time, especially when it comes to driving, is to be like the happiest animal on the planet, which is a goldfish, because they got a 10-second memory. So let it go.
let it go.
Because I'm gonna tell you right now, them folks that cut you off and do what they're doing, they're not gonna show up at your house and apologize and have an Outback gift card in their hand for you. So just they're not going to be, they don't mean anything to you. So don't let them, take away your shine or anger you, because that just makes it worse.
Yeah, it does. It does.
Yeah.
I think Ms. Tamara Davis Brown had a question for you.
Actually, my question is for Peter regarding those. I didn't get my hand up quick enough. And I see you're entertaining questions after each speaker instead of the end, but this is real quick regarding the flat panels. I know we have asked before whether or not the more substantial yellow ones that are like on Woodyard Road could be used instead. Are
Yeah,
we
that's
still
what I'm gonna be installing in place of the flex posts that have been knocked down on the shoulders.
okay? And then on a totally another subject, but with regard to that, you were supposed to look into the ones on replacing some of the ones that have been knocked down, even on Woodyard Road. So
Really? Okay.
yeah,
Uh,
there's like 4 or 5 missing, I think.
right where this, right at the location where that channelization is in place, right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, all right. Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you for the question. Thank you both Peter and Mike for your enlightening answers and things that we all can take heart to. I want to go right now to our next presenter before we get into some things before we close up regarding our event coming up on July 27th. And that our presenter next is, I'm sure all of you who have seen the new speed cameras. We have with us tonight Miss Katie Nash, who's working with Genoptic, the contractor who's responsible for those speed cameras. So we want to get our I guess all the insights that she can share with us regarding these new cameras because they've all been placed out, and well, I'll just let her tell you what she has to tell us in terms of the updates, the expansion for the future, where they are right now. So Ms. Katie Nash, I know you've been patiently waiting, so I will turn it over to you to just give us all things of which you want to share with us tonight about the speed cameras.
Good evening. And I did want to, first, I was blown away by the statistics. I have a lot of experience in community work, and I was just so just amazed by the stats that you were presented regarding the enforcement efforts from the police department. So I did want to give credit where it's due. Those were amazing numbers. And I think it's also just a tribute to the advocacy of this group. So I wanted to congratulate you all. Dorian is with me. I asked him to, he graciously volunteered to be here this evening as well. So he's also on the call. And I just wanted to say that the update that was given, we are just waiting. The police department they're still reviewing. They want to make sure that the back office and all of the reporting is just exactly to their liking. I think we can all appreciate why that's so important. So cameras are placed, and we're slowly, as I had previously reported, we are phasing them in. But we are, of course, anxiously waiting for that go button where we're actually issuing citations. So currently, right now, the previous vendor is still active, and then we will switch over when we're given the go ahead to do that. But right now, they're collecting data for the police department. Dorian, I wanted to let you, if you had anything you'd like to add, but we're just waiting day by day for that on button any minute now, and we're excited also. I'm really excited to meet y'all in person at the event later this month. So certainly ask me questions there as well. Looking forward to that.
Yes, I'll give an update. Let me just walk away from the person playing piano at the event I'm at. So the reporting is all done, has been shown to Captain Smith. Is very happy with that. The back end is ready, mailing's ready, court interface is ready. And the systems are all up and taking the data, like you said. And then let's see, I had it. So I know from the 6 locations on there, not all of them were up on June 21st, but the citations or the events we have recorded since June 21st are 30,590 so far. With speeds that have, I think our top speed was 140 recorded. So we do have that. All the data capability is there. All the recording is there. We are getting speeds well over 100 miles an hour that we can capture and record. We're getting very good flight images, and we are hopefully knocking on wood. We're hopeful and optimistic that we should hopefully start this program with ticket issuance sometime this week, if not early next week.
Dorian, I've got to go back to that 30,940 number. Is that a recording for those over the 12-mile-per-hour threshold?
Yeah, that's just 30,590 is only vehicles that were traveling over 12 miles an hour over the speed limit, 12 or over the speed limit.
So I want everybody to understand what they're hearing. Since you all have put these 6 cameras in, which has been less than 2 months, am I correct on that?
Yeah, the data I'm giving you is only since June 21st, so not even a full month. From
June 21st.
Yeah, till Friday. I don't even have it as of
Until
today.
Friday.
This last Friday. Yep.
You've captured over
30,500.
30,590 vehicles going over the 12-mile-per-hour speed limit of 55 miles per hour. In other words, 68 miles per hour and above.
Yes. Yep. 60. Yeah. Yep. That's correct.
And
later we can give you total vehicle counts. We'll give it, later when we're at the meetings that, and I'll have, as we start, we'll be able to give monthly statistics and actually not just give you the violations, but total vehicle passes and everything, and then break it down. Here's the percentage of violating vehicles. So hopefully next month we have that statistic for you.
Here's what I want our audience to understand what you have just said. I started out in this evening's statistical makeup of what last year the total for 12 months was 40,050 for 12 months, 365 days of that year. You've given me since June 21st 30,590 up until last Friday.
Correct. Yes, and it's not creating new events. Those events were already out there. It's the technology we brought to the roadway now that's going to get you everything that's out there. So now you're actually going to get a real picture of how many events.
Yeah, and that's the picture I want. I want that to really hopefully bake into our audience mindset, in addition to what Captain Martin has given us. And this is the profile of Indian Head Highway. Sorry, if it all stopped there, I think the picture should be baked in for all of us. This is what we have, for our community. This is what we're dealing with. I'm almost aghast to know what to say behind that, because I've been reading numbers for I guess the 7 years that we've been up and running, but this is just unbelievable. And it just speaks its own language. I mean, the data is the data. But I'm thankful to you and the technology that you bring to us to really give us. It's almost like when photography first came into being and into the as photographs were taken, they were real fuzzy. And you can make an outline of what the photographs was making. I mean, you kind of tell a little bit about the person that the photographs was making. But the new technology is almost like HD. You got high definition, and you get a clear picture of whatever subject matter you're taking the picture of. I put those two analogies together for us to look at receive and understand what we're truly looking at. This is something hard to digest. I see we have Mr. Dwayne Bowie that has his hand up. Yes, sir.
Quick question. So from a process perspective, we have a lot of users that are used to driving over 12 miles per hour. When you turn that button on and say, okay, we're starting issuing tickets, let's say on a Monday, they do the infraction. When do they get their ticket? Because imagine Tuesday they do the same thing, Wednesday, and next thing you know, by maybe Friday or the next week, they racked up, $7 $40 tickets or something. How quick does a person who creates their infraction get their ticket?
A high percentage will, through the secondary speed verification, be auto processed and into the police department within a day, and then processed by the police department. But realistically, it could be a week or so before they have that ticket. And then it'll be up to, Prince George's County Police and the Revenue Authority on how they're dealing as they get activated again with multiples. I think their position may be that those cameras have been out there for years, and these people, aren't just learning of the fact that they're out there. Even our cameras have been shown to be out there. That's I don't know what they'll do. I mean, we'll be processing them. That'll be our job. And then how the county and the police department want to do that is, whether they say that's fine if you get a few at first, for the first month or something, you'll only get one. That can be done as well. So a lot of that will fall to the county and how they would like their program to operate. That's definitely not a decision we make as a company.
Understand. I was just wondering, anyone in this group here knows what will be the process, whether it's a 10-day, hey, these cameras are active and here's 10 or 30-day warning. And then on the 30th day, we go live and, if there are no more warnings, it goes hot and you just, get tickets. And if they're issued, if it takes a week, it takes a week, but you could get, 4 or 5 tickets in a row because you weren't aware you were.
And that is another option for them, is to announce through the media and everything that the cameras are going live on a certain day and then wait to start ticketing for, 10 or 14 days after that.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's going to be totally in the venue of the police department, how they really handle that. But I appreciate that question, Dwayne, because it is something to underscore. Ron Weiss has done some quick calculations on the number you've given us, and it comes out, he says, almost 1,400 citations a day. 1,400 citations a day. A lot of times we get I don't know, enamored with so much statistics. It's hard to, a lot of times, for people to process. So you don't know how people really digest numbers. I'll just put it this way. I remember the National Highway Transportation Safety Board put out something about a year or so ago about where speed lies in fatality. And I believe they came up with a formula, and this is their data, that every 5 miles per hour you go above 55 miles per hour, you incur an 8% greater chance of you get hit at that speed, you'll die. So when you're talking about, and I think at one time we were looking at the average speed, this is some years ago, they were doing, I can't remember the gentleman, the captain that was doing it. It was almost 80 miles an hour, 78 miles per hour. So it added up to like about a 40% increase of you would die, you get hit by somebody riding that speed. And it's just the average speed on any hit highway. And I try to use that analogy and say, okay, say for instance, if you get on an airplane, you're going wherever you want to go. And the pilot says, with that same statistical data, with the average speed on any hit highway, and the pilot told you, okay, you're taking that 40%, you minus that with 100% chance of getting to your destination. He tells you, look, you got a 60% chance of getting to your destination between here and there. How many people would get on that plane? How many of you on this call would get on that plane? That's the kind of threat level we're having on any hit highway every day. And the more people that are going at these extreme speeds, the more likelihood if you hit them, if you're going that speed or they hit you, that's your chances of survival. That's where it is. And that's why we're working so hard, because people, a lot of times they hear so many statistics, it doesn't really register until it happens to them or somebody they know. And this is why what happened, and Indian Highway still claims the most from one single accident, most deaths, and that was 8 back here in 2008. And it could happen again. Guys are racing, plowed into a crowd, and it wasn't whole bodies that were left. There were body parts, hands and feet that were detached and dismembered. That's what happens at high speeds. It's not pretty. That's the kind of road we have as our main highway. And this is what we're all living with in this threat level. Yes, Brother Herb.
Yeah, I just want to say to the our new vendors, you guys are going to be game changers. And I know you can't do it by yourself, but with the Revenue Authority and our police department, along with the 7th District and State Police, I already see a change. I went by a couple of your cameras the other day, and my wife and I were going up to the car wash, 210, and I got so excited. I said, "Oh, there's a new camera, there's new cameras." And she said, "Well, you better slow down." I said, "Yeah, let me slow down." But we're very encouraged by you guys. Looking for your participation. Looking forward to your participation on the 27th, and I think this is the start of something positive. And we already beginning to see change of driving habits, et cetera, et cetera. This is not a panacea. It's just one of the many tools in the toolbox. So thank you, guys.
Yes. Dorian and Katie, I didn't mean to take away from your presentation time, but did you have anything else that you wanted to share with us regarding the cameras?
No, sir, not at this time. Looking forward to seeing you in a couple of weeks.
Okay. Well, I just want to amplify what Herb has just given in terms of thanking both of you and thanking you for bringing what you have to this roadway. We certainly need it. We certainly need it. From what Captain Martin has shared, what you have shared with us, it's a lot to digest. And I just want to move everything towards, if I may, towards July 27th, because July 27th, I'm asking each one of you to mark that on your calendars, please. If you can make it on that date, come out, Harmony Hall, 11 o'clock. This event is going to be twofold. Number one, it's going to, one segment is going to be regarded towards memorializing those who have been lost. Memorializing those who have paid, unfortunately, have perished on this highway and paid the ultimate price. And so we want to take a moment in the program to really, have everybody understand you're living in a very different type of culture, roadway community because of Indian Highway. And we're paying a price for that, all of us paying a price for that. But the families that we're going to invite, and I pray that all of us can share a moment for the grief and mourning and the loss of which they have incurred, and all kinds of different circumstances. There's no one type that defines all of the all of the losses that have occurred. But we're 90 plus that we've lost since 2007. Lord knows how many before then. For the roadway, the amount of roadway we have in Prince George's County, it's the highest fatality death rate, my understanding, in the DMV that we share. I mean, when John Townsend back in 2017 named us the highway of death, he understood what he was saying. I don't think a lot of the people that live with it understand what they're living with. And so part of that event is going to be dedicated to memorializing those who have been lost. But the other thing is working towards our theme, understanding Maryland 210, understanding the need for change, the need and the reasons for change. We have to change this. We have to change this behavior. We've got to do things for our own survival. And what we're alluding to is moving towards getting this bill that we tried to get passed the last 2 years, past this upcoming General Assembly session. We need your help. We need your buy-in as a public. We need to make sure that when we go this time into the General Assembly, we have the full backing of every concerned citizen that really cares about how they want to live with their main highway in a community that they have, anchored themselves as a resident. We need all of your help to become aware of truly of what we're facing, but we need all of your might, your push, your involvement, your signing up and petitions, whatever it is that you can do to help us push this ball over the goal line. I'm praying that you will be there and take this with all consideration of seriousness, that you'll mark your calendar, that you'll tell someone else to be there. Let them get enlightened as much as we can. We've gotten complacent living with danger. It's almost like the lobster in boiling water. You turn up an increment at a time and it's boiling before it knows, before it understands it's being cooked. Is when just before they get cooked. Well, we've been in the slowly increment of boiling the water and living with it to the point we've gotten complacency and apathetic. It's time to stop living this way and start moving from a highway of death to something better than what we have today. 30,590 people going over the speed limit, over 12 miles per hour. We're not talking about over 55, but we're talking about over 67 miles per hour. That's just, it's unfathomable. But it's what we have. It's the culture that's baked in. And only we who are part of it can make a change with, to turn it around. It's going to take us to do it. So I'm going to end on that note. Unless there's anyone else that would wants to chime in on anything, any comments, any last minute remarks. I'll give, the floor is open for you. But I hope you feel as serious about this as I do. And I know the rest of the team of 210 Traffic Safety Committee as well feels the same way. So does anyone else want to chime in on this before we close up? I'm going to take your silence to mean that you're thinking about it, that the wheels are churning, and hopefully in your gut. But think about not just your safety. Think about those you love as well. We've got to reduce this threat level of egregious driving on this roadway. We just got to do it. Our next meeting will be Monday the 19th. I hope on that day we can talk about some things, good things that have happened on the 27th of July. But please mark your calendar. Please tell someone else. Please have someone else that you can lock arms with to come to join us on that day. We're looking to be, as a community, lock arms to address this issue that we have lived with too long, that we have to move forward and make a change. Ron Weiss, I see you have your hand up.
Yes, I wanted to remark that Jennifer put in the chat a link so that you could register your intention to attend the July 27th event so that we make sure we have enough space for everybody there. I encourage everybody who plans to attend July 27th to click on that link and fill out the form so that we're sure that we have enough seats for everybody. And also to compare with the 1,400 citations a day that the new speed cameras are getting, last year with the old cameras, we got about 110 possible citations a day and 38 actual citations a day.
Wow. From 110 to 1,400 a day.
Yeah. So be
That's saying
careful out there. Don't
Yes.
speed.
That's saying something.
Yeah.
Wow. Please be safe. Please can strongly consider the July 27th. Please tell someone else. But above all, make sure you please come. Amen.
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 Okay. God bless you. Have a good evening. Have a good night. And
Thank
we
you.
hope to see you there on the 27th. Bye-bye now.